Hi, this is Next with Linda. And guess what? I'm Linda. I'm so happy to be here and to meet all of you, and I want to thank you in advance for taking your time to listen to me, an 82-year-old woman who thinks she has something to share. I know I have something to share. I've lived 82 glorious years. Not all fun, but definitely storybook worthy. I'm born here in Los Angeles to immigrant parents. They were both very busy trying to keep roofs over our heads. I'm the eldest of 4 children, basically raised myself. Many of you have had that experience with parents who were struggling with their own situations and or struggling to keep the family together and fed. We were definitely lower middle class, and I always wanted more. I always wanted to see what was coming next. Hence, Next with Linda, because there's always a next. I remember being a small child riding in the back seat of my parents' car, driving over a street here that's called Coldwater Canyon. That's the street that Elizabeth Taylor lived on. That's the street that a lot of Hollywood stars lived on. And I would drive by, and my brother and I would pick the houses that we were going to be living in one day. Always big dreams. And you know what? Since that time, I've learned something very valuable. Dreams come true. Because the reality is that the life that you are now leading is one that you created. Your belief system, your expectations, not the ones that you just talk about offhandedly, but the ones that you feel in your soul and in your heart. They're the ones that come true. Good, bad, beautiful, ugly. Whatever you believe is what you create. Had I known that as a small child, I would have felt a lot more comfort, because it all seemed like such a big mystery and so out of my control. But it wasn't. I just didn't know that. And I'm sharing that with you right now. I don't want one of you to walk away from this talk today and feel that your life is not in control, because it is. And I want to help you to develop that belief system that creates all that you want, and that you begin to live the life that was meant for you from the beginning. Just give the universe the go sign. Let the universe know what you want. They'll decide how you get it. They'll provide the opportunities. You will be attracting opportunities and people into your life who will cause those things to come true. So let me tell you a little bit about mine. I was a high school graduate, no college degree, and I married. I couldn't wait to get out of my house, the house of my original family. I didn't get along with my mother, may she rest in peace, and I wanted to go out and prove myself. I wanted to get a job. I didn't want to have to ask anybody for anything, certainly not money, to do anything. Bought my own first car. No, that's not true. My father at that time was a used car dealer, and he bought me the most atrocious looking car you've ever seen in your life. The color, I called it monkey vomit yellow, but it had 4 wheels, and I could drive it. With its red interior, it was quite the scene. But I was the one who drove everybody to the beach in my monkey vomit yellow Chevrolet. We were a known factor, and we had a lot of good times at Bob's Big Boy Drive-In in that silly-looking car. But it brought a lot of joy, a lot of laughter, and a lot of shared tears. Being a teenager wasn't easy, but in the end, here I am, and I'm with you. How lucky can I get? Okay, so I graduated from high school. I was pretty popular with the boys. Girls didn't like me so much. Oh well, can't please everybody. Even then, I knew I wasn't tequila. Some people are going to like you, some people are not. And I really didn't let that part bother me very much. I went on to date. I met someone, the first serious boyfriend that I had when I was probably 16, was a next-door neighbor who was the best friend of my next-door neighbor and lived across the street. spent a lot of time listening to popular music, eating potato chips, and drinking Coca-Cola. Nobody told us that that was going to be verboten when we were older, so I'm glad I got a lot of that out of my system. But anyway, I proceeded to get a job in the women's clothing. When I was a senior in high school, I misrepresented my age so I could get a job before I was 16. You had to be 16 to get a work permit. But I decided that I could handle it, and I went to work in a women's clothing store. It was called Jerry's. And I went from being in the stockroom, steaming out all these beautiful clothing, and ended up managing the store. And then they opened a second store, and I moved to manage the new store, and then ended up managing both stores. And really, really liked the responsibility that came with that. I had a fascination for women's fashion, and the discount was also very much appreciated. It was really fun. At the same time, I was dating, and my fertile stomping grounds were the beaches of California. I looked good in a bikini, and I met a lot of people, and we had a lot of fun. I didn't have a lot of exposure to alcohol at home. My parents didn't really drink, so I would go to a fraternity party and have 1 week gin and tonic and carry that around with me all night. So that was never an issue for me. Never got into drugs. It just wasn't something that I had any desire for. Spent a lot of weekend nights at a club on Sunset Boulevard called PJ's. Met a lot of very interesting people there. I just had a really, really good time. I went to work for 7 Arts Motion Pictures and Television as a receptionist. Had a lot of fun characters sitting on my desk. Really enjoyed myself. However, my home life was not what I wanted it to be, and my mother and I did not see eye to eye on a lot of subjects, and the older I got, the more that became apparent. I know she did the best she could. We've all heard that our parents did the best they could with what they had, with what they knew, and I do believe that that's true, having now been a parent. I know that I did the best I could with what I had, and I'm sure it didn't go without criticism. However, I am very proud of my mothering, and that in itself has given me more joy than anything else I've ever done in my life. I have 4 glorious children, each one so different in the way that they're magical, have always brought me joy from the moment that I conceived, which I guess was fun, and my whole pregnancy, loved every minute of it. Had the babies, no problem, wore my jeans home from the hospital. I really have had a magical life. I didn't realize how much of that magic came from my belief in myself and from believing that I deserved it. I always focused on what I could do to help other people. I was very, very affected by other people's situations. I won't say I was an empath because I'm not an empath, but I really, really want to make a difference in this world. I believe that's why I'm here. I'm here to be a salve on the wounds that occur in people's lives just as they develop. There's so much pain, so much confusion, that if I can be of any help, I wanted to be in training my whole life for how I could be of service. And I remember going to a church in Santa Monica, which was non-denominational, and I remember to this day a song that they used to sing on Sundays, and the words were about, they were to God, whoever God is to you, and they were, please use me. I have hands, I have a mouth. Tell me what people need to hear to make them feel better. Let me use these hands to do good. I'm praying to you for guidance. Use me. And I still feel that way today. And that's why I feel so blessed that at 82 years old, I have found this opportunity to be in your life and you in mine. And we get to do this together. And I can still make a contribution. And I can still make new friends. And I have so many life experiences that I want to share with you the joys that I experienced that I want to encourage you to share, the pitfalls, the mistakes that I made. I don't want you to have to repeat them. I want you to at least think about. Remember that girl, what was her name? Oh, girl. That woman, what was her name? Linda. Next with Linda, right? Remember she talked about this. She talked about the botched plastic surgery. She talked about the fraternity party that she went to that turned sideways. You'll never think of these things the same way once you've heard the stories that I'm going to tell you. So I'm so excited to have the opportunity of going through and sharing with you the wondrous life I've had. I lived on a ship for 5 years. Yeah, a ship. Sailed around the world 3 times. Remarkable. A remarkable situation. Besides that, I've been married 4 times. It took me a long time to figure out I didn't have to marry every single man I fell in love with. I love everybody. So that was a major problem for me early on. But I've been single for a very long time now. I don't want any of you to think that you're too old, that things have passed you by. I'm 82. I'm going to be 83 in January. My last love affair, and it was beautiful, was started at age 80 and only ended a short while ago when he passed away. He was marvelous. We were romantic. He was 90. I was 82. And yet there was magic in the air. The way we looked at each other. The way we treated each other. It was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. That could lie ahead for you, if that's what you want. Or we could be reminded of the passion that you once felt for your career, for your spouse, for anything in life that has given you that spark. Let's recreate the spark, but this time let's turn it into a roaring fire. This is your time. Let me be your guide. I am here to share with you so that you can learn from me. Take it or leave it. The price is right. Just tune in and know that there will be something of value that comes out of every conversation that we have. And all I'm trying to do is stimulate thought. Maybe if I look at things a little differently. Maybe if I believed in myself more. Maybe if I remembered who I am and all the things that I have survived that might have killed me, but no. And they didn't kill my spirit either, because here I am, and I've got more than enough to share. So I'm really looking forward to us spending more time together, getting to know each other better, and having the best chapter yet still ahead of us. Let's do it together. Please make sure to like and to follow and to repost, my favorite word, because that's the way we're going to get this word out, and that's the way we're going to make a change in this world. And that's the way we are going to change the way people think. Bring in more love, bring in more confidence, bring in more passion. Follow me. Repost. Let's do this together.